Okay, so I hope during the break you review the how to find exact value. Okay, we're gonna go over that. Okay, so again here, this is part 2. Okay, part 2 has more algebra to do. So just quickly skim through the all the things that will be covered here. Okay, we'll be talking about some identities. So this is called the sum and difference identity, and then we have this part also identity. Identity means the sum of the formulas. You can think of that way. Okay. So that's part B, more identity. Part C, using identity to prove. Okay, to show something is true. And then part D is the equation. Okay, equation means to find x. Okay, the missing angle, and that's all. Okay, all the different methods. Okay, so you can see that there's no graphing. All right, so let's start with the first part. This is called the composite angle. Okay, let's highlight that. So the question they ask you to do is to find exact value, right? So that's why I asked you to review that, right, during the break. So if we go back and then take a look, okay, if we want to find exact value before, where was it? Yeah, over here. So first thing is you have to draw the angle out, right? Draw the angle, and then once you got the angle, you have to get the reference angle. And then the reference angle is either 30 or 60 or 45, right? Those are the special angles. Or in radian, okay, power 6, power 3, power 4, those ones, okay? And once you have those special angle as your reference angle, then you can fill in the sides. So step 3, get the side ratios. And then you make sure you check whether it's positive or negative, okay? All student takes calculus, right? So ASTC. So step 1, draw angle and get the reference angle. So let's try that, right? And see what happens. So let's take a look. Where did it go? Okay, how far we've come through, right? Okay. So our question here is sine negative 105, right? So if we draw that out, okay, so can everyone draw this on your page? Negative 105, and please write down the reference angle. Reference angle. Okay, so raise your hand if you found the reference angle. Negative 105 degree. Okay, please raise your hand if you have the reference angle for this one. Remember, negative degree, you have to turn clockwise. Negative 105 is somewhere here, right? Negative 105 degree. Okay, please raise your hand if you have found the reference angle. Okay, Angela, what's the reference angle?
75.
75, thank you. Okay, 75 degree. Right, so that's talking about this part, 75 degree. Okay, remember reference angle, we don't have negative. Okay, it's just the size of it. So is 75 degree a special angle? Sophie?
No.
No, right? Special angle refers to 30, 60, and 45, okay? So because reference angle is 75, we cannot get an exact value, okay? So that's why we need other ways to figure it out, right? If reference angle is 30, 60, or 45, then we just did it like the same way we did before, okay? So this is the new problem we have, okay? Not special, not 30, not 45, not 60, okay? Those ones. So not special. So that's why we are learning this, all right? We need to know when do we need to use this formula, right? So we have sum and difference. Let's take a look at the first group. We have sine of A plus B, right? That's called a sum. A and B, they are both angles. Using the identity, we can split the A and B. Turns into sine of A, cosine of B, plus cosine of A, right? Sine of B. So using the formula, we can split into sine and cosine, okay? So this is for sine of A plus B. And then we have the other side, okay? A minus B, that's called difference. Okay, this is the sum. This is the difference. Okay, then you will have basically the same thing, right? Sine of A split, right? Cosine of B, but then this time you get a minus because we are doing subtraction, right? Cosine of A, sine of B. So where the formula comes from, we can prove that, okay? But right now we just learn how to use it first, okay? Later when we have time, we can come back and show you how to do the proof. Or I'm sure if you go to YouTube, right? You type in proof of sum and difference identity. There you will see a lot of ways to prove it, okay? So right now we just practice how to use it, okay? So because the question that they give us is -105. But that one doesn't give you a special angle, right? As your reference. So we want to split it. Okay. We want to split the 105 by using two special angle. Special angle means 30, 45, 60. Okay. We want to use two angles to make up -105. Either you use adding or subtracting, doesn't matter, okay? So pick two angles. You either add them or subtract them to make 105. Remember special angle. Okay, special. Could be 30, right? 60. 45, okay, but it's not limited to that, okay? Anything that has reference angle of 30, 60, 45 can work. So something like 120, that could also work, okay? They're all degree. Like 150 will also work, okay? 90 degree is also special, right? It's on the axis, okay? 360, that's also special. So they are infinite. So we are extending the idea of a special angle, okay? Any angles that has reference angle that's 30, 60, or 45, or if it's angles on the axis, then they're all special, okay? You can find exact values. So you pick from here, okay? Pick from this infinite list. Pick two angles, you either add them or subtract to make -105. Okay, if you found the two angle that could work, please raise your hand. Okay, pick two special angles. You either add them or subtract them to make -105. Angles can be negative as well, right? So you could have used like -30 if you like, right? It's still special because it has reference angle of 30, 60, and 45. So there are many ways, okay? You can either get it by using adding or by subtracting. Okay, CZ, what are the two angles that you picked?
45 and 150.
45 and 150. And what do you do with them? Add or subtract?
Subtract.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Can be negative 105. Okay. Let's see if we get a different one. Okay. 45 minus 150. Yeah, that works. Very good. Susan, what are the two angles that you picked?
Can we just pick two special angles?
Sure. Yeah.
Negative 60 and negative 45.
Negative 60, negative 45. Yeah. So we can do negative 60 minus 45, right? Do a subtraction again. That gives you negative 105. That also work, right? Doesn't matter what you picked, okay? This is the A, right? These are the A. This one is the B. Okay? This is the A. This is the B. So we are doing A subtract B. Anyone else pick different numbers to make negative 105? Philip, what did you pick?
I did negative 60 and negative 45.
Okay, how about Angela?
I had 45 minus 150.
Okay, 45 minus 150. Yeah, okay. All right, so we can pick anyone, okay? I don't know if we will have space to do both, okay? We'll just do the, okay, let's try. We'll do both, okay? So since we're using the subtraction, right? You can see that it's A subtract B for both of them. So we need to use the difference. The sign of A minus B, sign of difference, okay? So you look at this one, we're using this, the one with the subtraction, okay? So write it out, sign of negative 105, right? Will equal to, we'll use the first option, okay? 45 minus 150. Okay, A is the 45, B is 150. Okay, you can write it down. And then now we just follow the formula here, the identity. It will equal to sine, cosine. Now because it's difference, right? So it will be subtract, cosine, sine. Okay, and then inside you fill in the angles. A, B. Okay, A, B. Okay, any questions? If you understand everything up to here, how we feel, then can you raise your hand? All we did is just fill into the A and B, okay? A is 45, B is 150, and we just put into the identity on both sides. Okay, can you raise your hand if you understand how we get to this point?
Jason,
Yeah.
so does it matter if B and A are reversed or?
Yes, it will matter because if I reverse A and B, right, 150 minus 45, it will be a positive 105, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So the question, we want to match the question. Very good question, yeah. So it matters if it's subtraction, right? If the question needs you to do adding, right? 45 plus 150, then it doesn't matter, right? 150 plus 45, 45 plus 150, it will give you the same answer. So subtraction, you have to be careful. Okay, Eric and Jocelyn, any question up to here? Jocelyn?
Jason,
Yeah. Philip?
shouldn't it be cosine negative 150?
Cosine negative 150.
Because your B is
B is
yeah.
150. Okay, so
Yeah.
write the A minus B there, right? Sine A minus B. So A is the 45, B is the 150. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so just the B is after the subtraction. Okay, Jocelyn, do you have questions? Jocelyn?
No.
No? Okay, then you can raise your hand, okay? All right, so now we are going to find the exact value. Okay, let me erase. Okay, we'll just continue, okay? So equals. So this is the point that you need to use what we learned probably a month ago, right? How to find exact value, which you reviewed during the break, right? So sine 45, find the exact value. Cosine 150, okay? And then same with this. So each of them, you can find the exact value, okay? I'll go over sine 45, okay? You follow the fourth step, draw angle, okay? You can do that on the top. 45 degree is there, right? 1 root 2. Reference angle is 45, so 1 square root 2, right? Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. It's in quadrant 1, so it's positive. Okay, so you find the exact value for each single one, because once we break it up, right, each question, each part is a special angle. Okay, so if you fill in all the 4 blanks, please raise your hand. We'll check each one. Okay, so the next one, cosine 150. Then you need to draw 150 degree, right? Draw angle. Draw angle 150 degree will be there, right? So you think about what's the reference angle, right? And then fill in the sides. Don't forget to check positive or negative. Okay, each of the ratio is a fraction, right? Okay, please raise your hand if you found all the exact values here. So of course, there are other options, right? You could also use adding to make negative 105. Okay, or you can use subtracting. Okay, if you use adding, then you use the first identity. Okay, if it's 150 degree, your ratio, the reference angle should be 30. Okay, 30 is the shorter side, so it should be 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay. Please raise your hand if you figured out the four brackets. All right, Daniel, what's the cosine 150?
I got negative root 3 over 2.
Negative root 3 over 2. Very good. Okay, cosine 45. Okay, Evan, do you have questions about cosine 45? Can you tell me your answer? One over root 2. Okay, very good. 1 over root 2. Okay, and then one more, Marcus. What about sine 150?
Is it 1 wait, pi 2 1 1? Is it 1 over pi 2?
1 over what?
No, not 1 over root 2.
Sine 150, you need to look at this picture. You see on the screen, I circled it,
Yeah.
right? Because 150 degree turns to the second quadrant, right? And then we're doing sine. Sine is what over what?
Opposite over hypotenuse.
Yeah, so look at that picture.
Oh, 1 over 2.
Yeah, 1 over 2. Okay, is it positive or negative?
Positive.
Okay, what's positive in second quadrant?
I gotta pull up the notes.
Hmm?
The hypotenuse and opposite.
No, we are talking about the ASTC. Do you remember this?
No.
In the quadrant, we have ASTC. Do you remember what each one represents?
I can't remember. So, I can't remember.
Okay, A is, it means all. All means everything. Sine, cosine, tangent. Everyone
Okay.
is positive. Okay.
Yeah.
And S, what does S represent?
The sine.
Yeah, sine or cosecant. Cosecant is the flipping, okay?
Okay.
The flipping of sine. So sine and cosecant are positive in there, right? And then how about T?
Tan.
Tangent or,
Cotangent.
yeah, very good. And then C?
Cosine or I can't remember the other one.
Secant.
Secant.
Yeah, okay. Can you say one more time? What's A?
All
Okay.
then sine and cosine.
Sine or what?
Cosecant,
Cosecant and then?
tan, a cotangent, and then it was secant and then cosine.
Cosine, yeah, okay. So these are the places where each one will be positive, okay? So in the second quadrant, right, the sign will be positive. So that's how we keep it positive. The only thing that's negative is cosine, okay? Has a negative root 3 over 2. Oops. Okay, so now we need to simplify it, okay? We just multiply the fractions, put them together. So we have negative root 3 over 2 root 2, right? That's the first two. Minus 1 over 2 root 2. Okay. They have the same denominator, right? So why don't we just put them together then? Okay, we'll just write it out. Okay, they have the same denominator. We'll just write it as one fraction. 2 root 2 negative root 3 minus 1. But we are not stopping here, okay? We need to rationalize the denominator. If you remember from grade 11, okay? You need to multiply to make the denominator has no square root, okay? We need to multiply by something. What do we need to multiply to make the square root in the bottom disappear? Lily?
I don't remember.
Okay, anyone else remember? How do we rationalize denominator?
Multiply by root 2.
Yeah, okay, so we look at what's the square root in the bottom. If you see square root 2, you times it by square root 2 to the top and bottom. Okay, so do not leave your answer not rationalized, all right? So multiply by that, that will give you the denominator will become 2 times square root 2 times square root 2 will become 2. Okay, so you get 2 times 2 will give you 4. And then the top you just distribute. Okay, square root 2 times each one of them, root 6 minus root 2. Leave your answer like this. Okay, is there any little steps that you want me to explain, like how to multiply square root 2? You can let me know. Now I will explain more. Otherwise, I will assume this one you already know. Okay, you need to distribute each one. Okay. So rationalize. Okay, make sure you rationalize. Any questions? Okay, this is option 1, right? You can use 45 minus 150. Let's see if it's using second option, right? Negative 60 and 45. We'll try that again, okay? But this time we will just write out the 4 exact value, okay? So second option. Okay, we are using negative 60 minus 45 instead, right? So sine negative 60 degree minus 45. So your A is negative 60, B is 45. Okay, so please try it out, okay? So write out the formula first. We're still doing cosine, right? I mean, we're still doing the subtraction. But it's, yeah, but this time it's different angle, right? So you don't need to go all the way to the final answer. Just get to the point after you get the exact values, all right? So just another practice. Okay. Okay, so please raise your hand after you get the 4 exact values. And let me know if you still have anything that's confusing to you, okay? Any small questions you have, okay? Doesn't matter how small it is. Anything that you feel confused, okay? Even like how we get the 1/2, how to rationalize. Okay, you can raise your hand after you filled in the 4 blanks. Okay, -60. That's our A. You just go in order, right? A, B, A, B. And then for each one, you need to draw angle. -60, where does it go? Okay, 45 degree, where is the angle? When you draw it out, get the reference angle, side ratio, don't forget to check sign. -60, you should turn to here, right? For 45 degree, we'll turn to the first quadrant, right? Okay, please raise your hand if you got the 4 blanks. Okay, Eric, what's in the first bracket?
Is negative √3/2.
Okay, very good. So that's for sine -60. Okay, Waylon, second bracket. Waylon,
Oh, sorry. It's the 1/√2.
yep, very good. Okay, third bracket. Claire,
1/2.
yep. Okay, and then the last bracket, Marcus.
Uh, 1/√2.
Yeah, 1/√2. Okay, opposite over hypotenuse. So if you compare these 4 brackets with the 4 brackets we had before, it's the same thing, right? So you know you'll end up with the same. Okay, just different order, right? So even if you choose a different option, if you did your exact value correctly, you will still end up with the same answer. Okay, so of course you can do other way using adding, right? You can do like -150 degree plus 45. Okay, -150 degree is your A, and then plus 45. 45 is your B. If you use it that way, then use the sum. Okay, sign of sum. Any questions? Okay, so that's what we use these identities for, okay, to find exact value for something that is not special, okay? Sine of -105, not special. So question could also change to use radian. So if they give you something like radian in this question, the next one, 5/12, do not change that into degree, okay? Don't do everything in degree and then change it back to radian. Don't just work with what you have, all right? So in this case, right, because we're at cosine, so you cannot use the sine identity, you have to use the cosine. So cosine identity looks like this, right? Let's take a look. This is a cosine of adding, right? Cosine sum. Cosine difference. Okay? Let's start with the cosine of sum. Cosine of sum is, it will have cosine, cosine, right? AB, right? But then the sign in the middle is changed, right? If it's sum, you use subtraction in the middle, okay? Sine, sine, right? For cosine of difference, it'll be cosine, cosine, change, right? Change to adding, sine, sine. Okay, so different from before. If it's sine, if it's adding, right, it will be adding. If it's sum, it will be adding. If it's difference, it will be subtracting. Okay, but if it's for cosine, you need to change the add and subtract. Now, as for your special, right, if it's in degree, you could have pi 30, 60, 45, right? If it's in radian, it will be like power 6, power 3, right? Power 4, or anything that has something over 3, over 6, over 4. For example, like 120. 120 degree is like 2 pi over 3. Right? If it's over 3, you know it has reference angle. That's special. Okay? 150 degree will be like 5 pi over 6. Because it has 5 times the 30 degree, right? Power 2 for 90, right? 2 pi, right? Those things are special. Okay? Anything that's over 6, over 3, over 2, over 4, then you can use it. Okay? As your combination. So let's try again here, right? So think about cosine 5 power 2. 5 power 12. How do I split it? Okay, either using adding or subtracting to make 5 power 12. Okay, you pick from this list over 6, over 3, over 4, over 2, right? Either you use add or subtract to make it. Okay, so I'll let you try that. Play around with the numbers, okay? Try to add them up. See if you can get 5 power 12 or subtract them, okay, to get 5 power 12. So please raise your hand if you found the pairs, all right? What are the A and B? Okay, Evan. Is there anyone confused of what to do right now? Let me know. Okay, then I will explain again. You can use anything that's over 3, over 4, like power 3, over 4, over 6, over 2. or over 1, right? Please raise your hand if you found the two numbers. Okay, we have 6 people so far on the two numbers. Anyone else? Okay, Susan, which two fraction did you use?
Pi over 4 plus pi over 6.
Okay, pi over 4 plus pi over 6. Okay, let's check if it works. Okay, so pi over 4, and if you want to add fraction, you need to get common denominator, right? So, Evan, Waylon, what's the common denominator here?
2.
Common denominator.
Oh, wait, 1 sec. 12.
12, okay? So pi over 4 will become what over 12?
1 sec. 3 pi plus 2 pi.
Yeah, 3 pi over 12 plus 2 pi over 12. And if you add them up, what does that give you?
5 pi over 12.
Yeah, 5 pi over 12. And that's what we are looking for, right? 5 pi over 12 is the angle that we want to make, right? Composite. It's composed of pi over 4 and pi over 6. Okay, anyone else got different combination? Pi over 4, pi over 6? Other than that? Okay, I think that should be the only one, right? Of course, you can try to do subtraction, but I think this is the easiest way to go, right? So move on, okay? We'll move on to here, from here. So pi over 4 is our A. Pi over 6 is our B, but because it's adding, so it doesn't matter the order, right? You can use pi over 6 as A, the other one as a B, right? Doesn't matter. So the rest is the same drill, right? Cosine, and then cosine, right? Co. And then if it's adding, right, this is a sum, we need to change to minus sine times the sine, okay? Okay, fill in the angle. Once you got the angle, please write out the ratio for each one. Okay, and then we need to further simplify it, right? Okay, once you finish the 4 blanks, okay, got the 4 exact values, please raise your hand. Okay, we'll check those 4 blanks. So A is power 4, B is power 6, power 4, power 6. Find the exact value for each and raise your hand. You can continue to simplify, okay, and rationalize. Okay, if you got the 4 blanks, please raise your hand. Power 4 is here. Power 6 is here. Remember, pi means 180 degree, right? So pi over 6, we'll cut that 180 into 6 pieces. Pi over 4 means you split into 4 pieces. Right, Lily, what's your first ratio?
1/√2.
Yeah, okay. Nick, second one?
√3/2.
Good. Okay, sine power 4, Sophie?
1/√2.
Mm-hmm. And Waylon, last one? Waylon? Waylon, are you there? Okay, Evan, how about you? 1/2. Okay, yep. 1/2. Okay, so we just simplify each one of them together. Okay, Waylon, are you there? Yeah, did you go away?
I went to the washroom.
Okay, so we got the 4 blanks, okay? Can you simplify these 4 fractions, okay?
Oh, give me 1 second.
Multiply and then put them together, and you will need to rationalize as well. Okay, so everyone please do the same, okay? If you have the final answer, you can raise your hand. So remember your final answer, okay, has to be rationalized, which means the denominator cannot have square roots, okay? Okay, please raise your hand if you have the final answer. Okay, Lily, do you need any help?
I got the same answer. Is that right?
Same as what?
Like the last question?
Completely the same?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Shouldn't be. Yeah, like, can you tell me what you have for the first 2 fraction multiplied together?
Um, root 3 over 2 and root 2
Yep, 2√2, and then minus, right? Minus what?
minus 1 over 2 and root 2.
Yeah, so they have the same denominator, right? So
Yeah.
just write it together, minus 1/2√2. So how do we rationalize?
Multiply by root 2 over 2.
Yeah, √2/√2, right? Top and bottom times the same. So that you can see the difference right now. The top, right? Compare the numerator. The answer we had before has a negative √3. But this one is a positive √3. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's difference. Okay, everything else is the same. Okay, so your answer will become positive √6 minus √2/4. Okay, anyone has questions? Okay, we have one more pair of identity to go over. All right, this time we have a 75-degree. Okay, so a similar idea. Okay, so I won't go over the detail. You look at the identity, right? If it's tangent sum, then you would have a sum adding on the top, right? And then the bottom will be If it's adding on the top, it will be subtracting at the bottom, so opposite, okay? And then instead of adding, you have multiplying, right? Multiply some product here. Okay, let's look at the tangent difference. Tangent of the difference, right? Then you would have a difference on the top, right? Subtraction on the top, and then the bottom will become adding, right? So instead of 1 minus, you have 1 plus, and still multiply. Okay, so this time is a 75 degrees. So you choose from this list, 30, 60, 45, 120, right? Those ones, either to do add or subtract. Okay, so I'll let you carry it out as far as you can. Okay, tangent 75 degree. Okay. And you should be able to get to 4 ratios again, right? Let's all agree on the choice of A and B then, okay? And this one is not too difficult to find, 75 degree. Okay, can you raise your hand if you have the 2 angles that can make 75? I think this one pretty obvious, right? 75 degree. Okay, Marcus, what did you pick?
45 and 30.
Yeah, very good. Okay, 45. So we do adding, right? 30. So if it's adding, it will be tangent add, right? Sum. Tangent 1 minus, right? If it's adding on the top, it will be minus tangent times tangent. Okay, adding, subtracting. Okay, so I'll let you fill out all the blanks. We'll talk about how to rationalize this one. Okay, this one is more difficult to rationalize. So please raise your hand again once you got the all the blanks filled in, right? So 45, 30, right? 45, 30. Because it's only tangent here. The ratio is easier to find, right? Opposite over adjacent. Okay, please raise your hand if you filled out all the blanks here, all the 4 blanks. All right, let's start with tangent 45. It shouldn't take this long though, okay? This is old stuff. Just find exact values. Tangent 45 degree. Okay, Evan, what's tangent 45 degree? 1, yeah, okay, very good. Okay, tangent 30 degree. Philip,
1/√3.
1/√3, yeah. And then the bottom are the same, right? Tangent 45 again, 1/√3 again. Okay? So this time is a little bit more difficult because you have fraction in a denominator. So how are we going to simplify if we get something like this, okay, on the homework? So let's simplify a little bit first, okay? 1 plus 1/√3, let's get rid of the brackets. And then 1 minus 1 times 1/√3 is just 1/√3. Right? This is what we get so far. You cannot leave answer like this, okay? If it's like a multiple choice, right? They would never give you answer like this. So you need to simplify this. First thing is to get rid of the denominator on each side, okay, of the fraction. We have a square root 3 in the denominator, right? You see there, square root 3, square root 3. We multiply top and bottom by square root 3. Then that should cancel out the denominator in both sides. Okay? Top and bottom multiply by the same thing. So we distribute, right? Multiply the first one, multiply the second one, right? Same thing with the bottom. So you will get root 3 plus 1. Root 3 minus 1. Any questions so far? Can you raise your hand if you get up to here? Okay, the point is to make it look simpler. Okay, Angela, Claire, and Evan, any questions why we do this? Okay, so once you get here, this is still not rationalized yet. We have two terms, right? If I multiply by root 3, again, if I do that, then the denominator, you will still have square root, right? Because there's a 1 there, okay? So if you want to rationalize something that has two terms, this is using something you learned from grade 11. You need to multiply by conjugate, okay? You multiply by square root 3. You look at denominator, you have square root of 3 minus 1. You multiply by the plus 1, the opposite. We call that conjugate. Okay, this is called conjugate. One is minus, one is plus. Okay, when that happens, okay, look at on the left side. I'm gonna write it on the left side. If I have 1a minus b times a plus b, right? One is minus, one is plus, just like what we have here. A minus b times a plus b. Okay, what's the formula for a minus b times a plus b? Eric, do you remember?
A squared plus B squared.
A squared, and then
Which one is this?
on the left side, the formula, a minus b times a plus b.
Oh, A squared, and then it's
And
minus B squared.
Okay, yeah, should be minus, okay? Minus b squared. Okay, so we're using that on the denominator, right? The a is square root 3, b is the 1, okay? A minus b times a plus b, right? That's for the denominator part. So equal to a squared. A squared means square root 3 squared. So that will be 3. Okay, I'll do it slower, okay? Square root 3 squared. Minus b squared. B is 1, so 1 squared. Okay, and then for the top, you have to expand by doing FOIL, okay? 1 by 1. Root 3 times root 3, that give you 3. Root 3, square root 3 times 1, that will give you square root 3. And then now the middle one, 1 times root 3, that give you root 3. 1 times 1, give you the 1. Am I going too fast? This is completely from grade 11, okay? I know it's a long time ago. That's why we do it slowly, okay? Can you raise your hand if you caught up to here? Okay, for 2 terms, you need to use conjugate, okay, to rationalize. All right, so now the denominator, root 3 squared will be 3, right? 3 minus 1, so that's the 2, right? So you see the denominator no longer has square root now. And then the top, we combine all the like terms. The 3 and the 1, they can add. Okay, so that'll give you a 4. Square root 3 plus square root 3 will be 2 root 3. Now, because all the 3 terms, right? Here, here, and here, they are all divisible by 2. So we will simplify even more. Everything divided by 2. If one of them is not divisible, you cannot divide, okay? For example, let's say if the 4 is a 3, then you cannot say, I just want to cancel these out. This is wrong, okay? Remember, do not do that. Let me go back, okay? You can only do the reducing if every single one is possible, okay? So all these 3 numbers, they all divided by 2. So the top will be 2 plus 1 root 3 over 1. Over 1, you don't need to show it, okay? So your final answer should be this. So I think the plugging into the formula is not the hard part, right? In this case, how to simplify properly, right? That's most important. Okay, so this week, you just need to get yourself familiar with all the 6 identities, okay? And to help you guys remember, I made up 3 sentences to say it, okay? So you remember the formulas. Okay, but before we get to there, can you raise your hand if you wrote down everything here and understand everything up to here? Okay, raise your hand if you wrote down everything. All right, so let's talk about how we can memorize it, right? So for the first pair, because if it's sum, it will be adding. If it's difference, it will be subtracting, right, in the middle. So we just say the first word, okay? Sine, cosine, okay? So the way I say it is sine of sum and difference, right? The question is sine, right? Sine of sum and difference is sine cosine, okay? Sine cosine. So cosine, you just say co, it's faster, right? Sine, sum and difference, sine cosine. If it's cosine, it will be co, right? Co. Together, right? Co. Change, right? You need to change to minus. sine, sine. Okay, if it's sine, sum and difference, sine, cosine. Cosine, sum and difference, change, sine, sine. All right, and then if so, it's down here. I already wrote it down. Okay, so next time I'll test you. Okay, everyone will have to say it. So the first part, sine, cosine. Second part is change, sine, sine. Okay, change, sine, sine. For the tangent, okay, tangent if it's sum, right? This part is the sum. Tangent sum, it'll be sum, because adding, right? Over 1 minus product. So right here, sum over 1 minus product. Okay, you can add the other one, okay? If it's difference, right? Difference, it will be difference over 1 plus product. Okay, we'll write it down here. Difference over 1 plus product. Okay, please write this down. Okay, 1 is for tangent sum. Okay, so you can say tangent sum is sum over 1 minus product. Tangent difference, difference over 1 plus product. Okay, so we'll go over one more time. The top two, sine, sum and difference, sine, cosine. Cosine, sum and difference, change, sine, sine. Okay, tangent sum, sum over 1 minus product. Tangent difference, difference over 1 plus product. Okay, so during this is part of your homework, okay, to memorize these 6 formulas, okay? So next week, when you come back at the beginning of class, each one of you have to say it out, okay? This way, right, because later on when you are move on to like calculus, we still need to use these identity, okay? So even after a year, if you keep repeating, it's easier for you to remember again, okay? All right, so that will be all for this lesson, okay? So I'll give you some questions similar to these questions, and then you just need to find exact value. I'm still missing some homework, okay? So Waylon, Marcus, Jocelyn, Eric, and Claire, okay? You guys can stay after class, and then everyone else, I'll see you next week, okay?
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, bye-bye. Okay, so those of you that have not handed in, if you need help, let me know. So Willen, yeah, Marcus, Eric, Claire.
Jason,
Yeah,
I handed in the homework,
oh, you
but
did?
like,
Oh yeah, and then?
and then like,
Mhm.
I think I need to like read over the question because I think I did like something wrong.
Yeah, for your first picture, I cannot see it. It's too blurry. Can you retake it again? One of the picture. You can take a look, okay?
Jason, I just handed in. I had a question yesterday, but then I figured it out because I did one of the problems wrong.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Let me check. Okay, hold on. Okay. Yeah, 5, 5, 6, 8, 9, right? Okay, yeah, good. Okay. Bye, Eric.
All right, see you, Jason.
See you.
Oh, actually, is it possible for me to add a comment because I forgot to write down the answer of T. I wrote down like the steps to find it, but then it's not completely done.
Oh, yeah, you can add it into the comment, or yeah, or you can write in your sheet and send in again.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. See you,
Okay.
Jason.
Yeah. See you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jason,
Yeah.
can I leave first because I can't handle the homework.
Can you what?
I'm using my phone right now, so I can't handle the homework.
Oh, okay. I will return that homework to you again, okay? Because the first picture is too blurry.
I think I could submit it again, but like, I don't know, like, I need to like hang up first.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, any question about homework? How to do it?
Wait, do you over number? Can you go over number 5? I'm not sure if I did it right.
Number 5. Oh, up here.
Do I just plug in the 3 into the function?
Yeah, you need to type
Okay.
it to the calculator. Make sure you're in radian mode, okay?
Mhm.
And when you type it in, this part is inside the sign. You see a red bracket I put?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you got to figure out, like, for example, you put 3 in, right?
Yeah.
Put 3 in, you have to do 3 minus 2 times 0.18 pi. And then that number, you put it inside the sign.
Oh, so
Okay.
I
Yeah.
do 3 minus 2 and then times 0.18 pi.
Yeah, and
And then
that
I put
number, that answer should go into the sign.
okay.
Okay, and then after you get that, you times it by 4.2, right? And then you plus 7.1.
Okay.
Okay, you have to use follow the order of operation.
Okay.
Okay, if you had trouble with 6 and 9, we already went over, right? It's on the side.